Good morning, and welcome back to the MEAC Digital Network, everybody. We're tipping things off today with the 2026 MEAC Conference Biweekly Men's Basketball Coaches Video Conference, proudly presented by TowneBank. I'm Lynn Thompson. I'm going to be your host. We're going to break down the action, the storylines, and the momentum shaping up MEAC men's basketball right now today. And we're going to start by going coach to coach, recapping the key matchups from the past couple of weeks and looking ahead to what's coming next. After that, we'll open up to the media for focused questions and deeper insight. For today's session, media members will be limited to one question per coach, with additional opportunities as time allows. To jump in, just click the raised hand feature on your computer and stay muted until you're recognized. And please remember to lower your hand once your question has been asked. All right? Good. Let's talk basketball. You know, we're knee deep in college basketball right now, and across the country, teams are diving in head first into conference play, and that stretch that defines what championships, shapes March seeding, and separates contenders from the pretenders. Well, the MEAC kicked off league play last Saturday, and right out of the gate, we saw a few results that turned heads and set the tone for what could be a wide open conference race. So we're going to break down those opening day surprises this morning, and we'll turn our attention to this Saturday afternoon where all 8 MEAC teams are back on the floor battling for early positioning in the standings. So with that, it's time to take our trip around the league and hear directly from the men's coaches who are leading these programs as they recap last week's action and look ahead to what's next as the 2026 MEAC season gets underway. Let's start in Baltimore, checking in with the Coppin State Eagles, where the MEAC men's head basketball coach, Larry Stewart, is standing by. Larry Stewart, good morning to you. I see you right there. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning to you. Happy New Year's.
Man, same to you. It's year 3 for you at the helm of the program, right? And
Yes,
that's the
sir. Year
program that
three.
you laid the foundation as a Hall of Fame player. And after the first portion of the season, virtually all on the road, you opened up meet play with a win basically for the second year in a row. But this time it was on the road against Dell State as your Eagles rallied from what a 7-point deficit to earn the 53-51 win. How does it feel to open up in the plus column so far?
Well, it just feels great. It gives you a great feeling of, getting started off in mid and conference play with that first win. The guys are upbeat and, after coming out of a tough non-conference schedule, it's always good to start off the conference play with a win. So we feeling good right now.
Good. The reigning MEAC player of the week, Kyle Horton, hit a huge bucket in crunch time to tie the score and gave you momentum down the stretch in the win. But how much is this big 6'8" junior contributing to the team?
Well, he's a key factor for us. He's an all conference, preseason all conference player. Got off to a slow start because of an injury in the preseason. He knows the league. He knows what it takes to win, and so we're looking forward to him to, not only making that shot but making more shots down the stretch.
He's not alone. You got a cast of others. You got a transfer from Fairmont State, Taj Street. Has a lot of experience, and it figures to be a big factor for the entire season. Talk about him.
Yeah, Taj, he's again, he started off, he was at West Virginia, he was at Temple,
Yeah.
then he was at a Division II last year where he had a great year. And so he just, been around some tough programs, played in some tough games, and looking to lean on him a lot, with his experience as we begin this MEAC play.
Okay, cool. I mean, the way college basketball is shaping up now, we get a lot of newcomers coming in and out. Another one that came up big in the win in Dover, Nelson Lamazana, the 6'9" guy that scored in double figures with a couple of threes.
Yes.
Let's talk about his performance.
Yeah, I mean, he again, he got off to a slow start for us from an injury, twisted his ankle. He had a lot of twist ankles in the preseason, so he got off to a late, kind of a late start. But he's kind of a young man. He's coming out of the prep scene. He can do multiple things on the court, and just looking to have him be a major part of what we're trying to accomplish here down the stretch run. During this media conference. So it's a guy that can stretch the floor. He can play in the post. He can put it on the, get downhill, get into the paint, and also is a pretty good defensive player when he's locked in.
Coach, that's good to hear. You got some players who are going to be making some huge contributions. Looking ahead to this weekend, before we open it up to the media, the North Carolina Central Eagles come to town after a huge win over defending champs Norfolk State. You
Yes.
got an opportunity to make it two in a row and really ride some momentum at home. How much of a challenge will it be, and how important is that 2-0 start for your Eagles?
Well, it's always going to be a challenge. Central is always a tough team. They're a very, very well coached team, disciplined. They're going to run a lot of sets. They're going to get up in, they're going to be tough. And so, hopefully, the non-conference schedule where we played all those tough teams will come to fruition. Those early losses will turn into some wins for us down here, in this MEAC conference. And so we're home. We're excited to be home. We're putting in the work and we're looking forward to the game on Saturday.
Good, Coach. Thanks, Coach. We're going to open it up to the media, see if they got any questions for you. As a reminder, media, please use the raise hand feature and remain muted until you are introduced. Also, please limit your questions to just one for Coach right now. Let's take a look and see if we got any lined up. Any questions here for the media? Okay, no hands raised this morning, Coach. So we're going to let you go and get back to practice. How's that?
All right, sounds good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach, and the best of luck this weekend. It's going to be Coppin State against North Carolina Central Saturday, January 10th. That's going to be a 4:30 tip-off, and it's going to be on ESPN Plus. All right, let's roll on over to Dover. And I see him sitting right there. Coach Stan Waterman is with us. Coach, the head man of the Hornets. Fifth season now, Coach. And this past Saturday, you opened up in your home on your home floor against Coppin State, and you just heard Coach Stewart talk about it. In the end, the Eagles rallied from 7 down late to sneak out of Dover with the 53-51 win. If this conference opener was any indication of what to expect for the rest of the season, it seems like games are going to be going down to the last possession, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely, Lynn. Let me first start by saying Happy New Year, wishing you a Happy New Year, and thank you for having us. Yeah, this weekend, this opening weekend in the MEAC is every indication of what this league is all about. It's on any given night. I mean, on paper, you look at teams and you say, yeah, we got the perennials at the top with Howard and Norfolk, and then everybody else, you kind of throw them in a hat. But no matter where you go in any arena on any given night, that's what you get. Coach Stewart and the Coppin Eagles came into our place on Saturday. We're ready to play. We had a nice little lead, a little comfortable lead at one point. They fought back, stuck with it, and like you said, it went down to the last possession. And I think a lot of games are going to come down to that in our conference.
Now, statistically speaking, the Hornets played well. I mean, you out rebounded the Eagles. You had Miles Webb with 15 boards and 10 points. And defensively, you forced 19 Coppin turnovers, including 4 steals by Ponce James, who had 13 points also. But what stuck out like a sore thumb to me, and I'm sure to you, was 5 of 13 from the charity stripe with 38% free throw shooting, Coach. Ice cold from the line. That's not Hornets basketball, is it?
That's not Hornet basketball. That's not winning basketball. That's not going to get it done. And particularly in your home arena, you got to be comfortable, be able to knock down free throws. That's a big part of winning basketball games and a big part of the reason why we weren't able to win on Saturday.
Coach, I figured you probably want to call a timeout and go check and see if it was lid on top of the bucket or something, right? I
Check
mean,
myself in and see if I could shoot them.
okay. Well, let's talk about Ponce James now because he's your go-to guy, and everybody knows it. Preseason All MEAC first teamer. He leads you in minutes played, scoring, assists, and free throws of 82%. For the Hornets to be successful, he'll need some help consistently. So who seems to be making those contributions?
Well, yeah, that's what we are looking for, and that's what we spend a whole lot of the summer and the preseason trying to identify, develop some chemistry, and come up with an identity for the team, the kind of team that we're going to be. Ponce is probably the most improved player in the program in just about every category. Like I said, scoring and sharing the ball and being a leader. Miles Webb, you mentioned already, has had a double-double, 10 points, 15 rebounds in a game. He's been the MEAC Defensive Player of the Week once already this year. Corey Perkins, a grad student in his 5th year now with us, it has done well. Corey's averaging 8 points and 3 assists a game. Had a triple-double in a game earlier this year and has been the MEAC Player of the Week. So we're looking for guys like that, Miles and Corey, to come along, and then certainly anybody else that's ready to hop in there and contribute. I think, again, we got a lot of guys and we're playing a lot of guys and trying to figure out just who's going to step into those roles.
Okay. Well, before we go to the media, coach, this Saturday now the Spartans are coming in and they're mad. I mean, justifiably so. They lost, and they're looking for some type of redemption after the upset loss last Saturday. So are you. What do you expect from Coach Rob Jones in the green and gold? And it's going to be a battle, isn't it?
It will be, and I expect what we get from Norfolk and Coach Jones every time you see them. High energy team. They're going to come in. They're very cohesive. They're well coached. They play hard, high motor. And with a 3-game losing streak, just like you said, I got a feeling they're going to be hungry and angry, and they're going to play that way. So we got to match that intensity and that physicality and see if we can give ourselves a chance.
Well, we will be watching, Coach. Thanks so much for those questions. Hang on for an additional question from the media. As a reminder, let's make sure you use the raise hand feature. Remain muted until you're introduced. And once your question has been asked, don't forget to drop the hand, okay? Do that for us. The first question comes from Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. Good morning to you, Charles.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Just a quick question, pretty much off the court kind of question, but there's been discussion. We know the transfer portal is here to stay, and there's been discussion about from other leagues about bringing in players who previously signed pro contracts or played somewhat in a pro league, and now they're trying to come back to college. Has that discussion leaked down to the MEAC in terms of how this conference will go forward in dealing with the transfer and putting the rosters together in the future?
Well, I would guess and imagine as we see each other, and there have been informal conversations, we're always trying to stay in touch and in tune with what's happening with college basketball. As far as any kind of formal conversations involving the commissioner or administrators, there hasn't been a whole lot of talk about that, but it certainly will have an impact on our game, on our institutions, on our league, and how successful or unsuccessful we're able to be. I know that's vague, but yeah, informal conversations, but nothing really formal at this point.
I appreciate your question and answer. Thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Charles, and stay warm up there in Minnesota. Any more questions for the media rep for Coach this morning? Okay, Coach, that seems about it for you today. We're going to let you get back to your work. You got a big one coming up Saturday as the Spartans of Norfolk State come calling in Alumni Hall, Bay Health Court at Dover at Del State, Saturday, January 10th, 4:30 p.m. Tip-off on ESPN+. We'll see you, Coach. Take care now, all right?
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Okay. Let's go down to the nation's capital right now and take a look at what's going on with Howard University basketball. And if he's not on it, I don't see Coach Blakeney on us with us yet. And we'll give him just a moment. And if he's not, we'll move forward and catch up with him. Okay. Once he comes in, we'll make an adjustment for him. How's that? I do see Coach Cleo Hill. Coach, how are you this morning?
I tell you, Lynn, Happy New Year, man. Not doing well, man. Under the weather today.
Under the weather?
Yeah, man. Got my orange juice in the office and my bone broth, ginger ale, pretzels. Trying to get through. But I'm here.
I hope you got some official Florida orange juice. That's the only kind that works against the flu, they say. Don't slip nothing else in it, all right?
We definitely will not do that.
Well, Coach, Happy New Year's, as you said to me, and we're giving salutations to everybody. A huge 17-point win over Morgan State gave you and your team tons of momentum, in your first game back to campus since what, Thanksgiving? I mean, so
yeah.
Year two kind of feels totally different from your inaugural season on the show. But what is the difference?
I mean, I think it's a lot. It's we brought in 12 new guys, and I heard somebody talk about the transfer portal. It definitely is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. We just tried to do the best job we could on getting good students, good basketball players, and good character guys. And then after that, it's just building habits with 12 new guys. And it's going to be like that for most teams every year, probably seven to 12, like every year. So we want to stick to those staples, good guys, good students, guys that's going to stay eligible, guys that like to work, and just build habits and try to build a culture of some sort. There is some history here, but it's not a lot, and we want to try to create that in a good culture.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you, two huge non-conference wins against Binghamton and Longwood on the road got a lot of folks' attention, and you combine that with some close ball games against some top flight teams. It seems that the Hawks are beginning to trend in the right direction.
Well, we're very spurty, Lynn. We play really, really well in short stretches, but then we have those stretches, like everybody, that we don't play well. We want to try to expand the stretches of good basketball and kind of shorten the ones when we just go brain dead. And it was good for me to start conference play. We've played so many different kind of teams in non-conference. I really wanted our guys to feel conference play, and Morgan came in here, man, and it was just what I told the guys. In this league is scrapping until the very end, and I kind of wanted them to feel that and see that.
Well, Coach, let's talk about that Morgan game with Dorian Staples. He led the Hawks with 16 points. Joe LaCandro finished with 13 points, and Zion Abanla recorded 10 points and 5 boards. But the real story was you held a 36-14 edge in the paint, 13-4 advantage in second chance points, and held Morgan scoreless for the final 3 minutes and 41 seconds of the game. I mean, those are some huge programmatic steps when you take a look at it from a data analysis standpoint.
Right. I mean, we thought we had a size advantage somewhere. We wanted to definitely play with feet in the paint, either dribble penetration or post feeds, and I thought we were able to do that. And building the culture, part of it is our identity of playing inside out, and being able to play some solid defense. Morgan had some guys that we were really, really concerned about. And so we made a concerted effort. We had some time to prepare. And, we came out on a winning end this time. But, he got the powerhouse guys coming in Saturday or Monday. So it's nothing that we can rest on. We just got to continue to build work ethic and habits on a daily basis.
You just led me right into to my final question before we go to the media. There are certain games a coach will point to as a measuring stick in programmatic growth. With Howard coming in this Saturday as one of the traditional top 3 teams in the league, is this one of those type games?
Well, we've talked about it as a staff and talked about it with our players, but when you got 12 new players, they kind of hear you.
Okay.
They don't understand. We're trying our best to do some creative things to make them understand and point out things like you said. Traditionally those 2 guys have been at the top of our league, and we go into a little bit of history. Of course, I go into my history playing against Ralph Talley and things like that, and the guys, they don't understand that part. But when we talk about the last couple of years and talk about their stats at this point, hopefully they'll get it before game time.
Well, Coach, we're going to be watching to make sure that they will get it. But Coach, let's turn it to the media now. And I see we got Ray Rogers from Urban Sports Scene has his hand raised. Ray, are you with us?
I hope so. My video is not cooperating with me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Good morning, Coach. Hog Proud, of course.
There it is, right there.
I wanted to ask, just in comparison to last year, how you feeling having that full all season with recruiting and time to get practice with these guys in. How's that working out? And look at the result in that first game in comparison to last season when you got in kind of late. Are you feeling a difference in a positive way?
Oh my goodness, totally different. Everything was rushed last year getting the job, and I think a couple of our guys got in before my coaching staff actually found found places to live. So it was rushed on that end. The schedule was rushed. We didn't have a summer to prepare, and all of those minuses were pluses this year. My staff didn't get in the transfer portal; they stayed with me, and we were able to kind of recruit some guys that we felt fit the system. And this summer was my first summer as a basketball coach, definitely as a head coach, having the guys here for the summer. Division II, it's so complicated to try to get that done. And I thought that was really, really great for us to have all 15 guys here for the summer, and bonding and building some chemistry and learning the system. And I think early on it's been showing. We've had some good games and we had some games that we didn't play well, but I think the chemistry and we're hoping carries us through the season.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck and feel better.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach. We'll let you get some rest. I don't see any other hands raised for media questions, so we'll let you get a little rest. It's the middle of the week as you get ready to finish your fine tuning on your preparation for the big game this coming Saturday. It's going to be a 4:30 p.m. tip-off in the Heights Center at UMES. It's broadcast on Delmarva Sports Network. Thanks a lot, Coach. We'll see you real soon. Okay.
Appreciate it, Lynn.
Take care now. We're going to turn our attention and go back, and we've got Kenny Blakeney on the line with us, the Howard University head coach. How you doing, Coach? Unmute it for me, would you please? There you go.
Thank you, Len. How you doing, man?
Good, looking good, man. Looking good, and so are you. I see you right there. Got the big trophy behind you. You got your Christmas clothes on. You're looking good, Coach. Santa Claus was good to you.
Santa Claus is always good.
Coach, I'll tell you what. You've been playing some real good basketball. You got a lot of talent there, and a lot was on the line this past Saturday in Orangeburg. And the Bison, you trailed for virtually the entire game and clawed back for a shot at the end, but no dice. But that's MEAC basketball, isn't it?
Yeah, all the credit to Coach Erik Martin and the South Carolina State Bulldogs. They played a terrific game and, deserve all the credit. It's a very tough place to play. They have a great environment down there, and it gave us a chance to reset and kind of refocus and to get ready for our next opponent with Maryland Eastern Shore, who's playing great and has a great team.
Yeah, Coach, you're right. And I'll tell you what. Let's talk about your team now and Bryce Harris. He's been your leading scorer, averaging over 18 a game, leading in steals and minutes played, but wasn't as productive scoring in Orangeburg and finished with only 8 points in the loss. So when teams focus on stopping Bryce, those extra 10 points that you're used to getting have to come from somewhere else. And where do you look then?
Well, Lynn, I think, Bryce has done such an amazing job and is a huge part of people's attentions when they play us. He plays so hard. He impacts winning in a big way that we have to take care of business in other areas. We probably missed 12 to 15 layups. We missed 12 free throws. But, to South Carolina State credit, they really, I think, made us miss those free throws and layups. And, it's just something we have to get better at.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're back in the lab working on that, getting ready for this weekend, as you mentioned earlier. What about Cam Gillis and Jonathan Taylor III? This guy from Morehouse is beginning to hit his stride. And how important are they to combining with Bryce and the rest of the cast of characters? And then who else do you point to when you need production from unlikely sources that we may not be aware of?
Yeah, Cam has been really good for us, Len, especially just, I think, galvanizing our team in a way that keep us connected. Offensively, he's so good with valuing the ball, running our team, his leadership, his toughness, and his ability on the defensive end is incredible. He defends his man and four others. So it's made us, we checked the latest, I think, either Kim Palm numbers, and we're like rank 130 in defense across the country. So our defensive numbers have really gotten better. And in terms of Cedric Taylor the third, I think this is only his fifth game back. He broke his hand 4 days before our first game and wasn't able to do anything basketball related and just starting to get back into basketball shape. So hopefully in a couple of weeks or so, we'll have him back to being, who he is. And I think, when he's that guy, he's one of the best players in our conference.
Coach, I remember talking to you last year. The injury bug hit you so much last year that you couldn't scrimmage a couple of times. Well, that was then, but this is now, and you're tell you what, you've got a great program. You're setting the battle a very much improved Hawks team on the show. I think would be successful against Cleo Hill's UMES Hawks.
Yeah, I have so much respect for Coach Hill. Going back to his days at Central as a player and following his career at Winston-Salem State, we have a lot of mutual friends, and it's kind of funny. We were talking yesterday as a staff when, you know, we went through the handshake line last year, and at the beginning of the game, and it's that first year for a lot of people was really challenging. And I just told him, hey, my first year I won 4 games. um, and it can shift with time, patience, and you know everything else that goes into that kind of that formula and that recipe. And to see him having success now, and his team's playing well, his team's playing connected. You can really see, Len, that his team has bought in to his coaching and the message that he's given them. They're playing so well together. Watching them, they execute what he wants them to execute. I was just saying he does such a good job of his team staying connected and playing and receiving his message. And you can see the steps from year one to year two.
Okay, all right. So let's turn it over to the media now because we've got some questions for them. Let's start with Charles Hallman from the Minnesota Sportsman Recorder. Charles.
Good morning, Coach. Thank you very much. Happy New Year
Happy New Year to you too, Charles. Good to see you.
to you as well. I know your team is not a one-person team, but can you speak a little bit more about Bryce Harris and how he's been doing? Did you expect his progression as a leader to be as such at this point in his career? And then what little thing he hasn't done or what little thing that hasn't been talked about him that you feel that he shows just as much importance as his scoring and everything else?
Yeah, Bryce is an incredible human being, Charles, and all the things that he's done. When we were kind of putting the team together and we're going out to the recruiting class when he was in high school, he was the one guy that we targeted that we felt like could shift the dynamic of our excuse me, of our program. And he's done that, and he has a chance to go down as one of the winningest players in the history of our program and one of the most decorated players in our program. And saying that on the court, he's done so much off the court. He's a Sigma. He's graduated from our business school. He's started 3 businesses so far. He's just an incredible leader, teammate, son, and a delightful person to coach. Honestly, I wish he would do a little less on the court for us. Because I think it'd take some of the stress and pressure that he puts on himself to want to be a high achiever and a guy that has incredibly high standards.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck the rest of the evening.
Thank you, sir.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much, Charles. On to you, Ray Rogers, Urban Sports Team. Ray.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
What's up, Ray? How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. Just a quick question. You talked about injuries a little bit, and this year you seem like you got the luxury to have some depth. I know it's early in conference season, but you got guys like Travell. Travell's really come on as of late. Have you considered any type of lineup changes to kind of see what might be most effective for your guys moving forward as league play heats up?
Yeah, Ray, we've only had our team, this is crazy, since 2022. We've only had our team fully healthy for 2 games. So, we're still a little banged up. We're starting to get a little bit more healthy. We do have all of our bodies back, I think. But it's still we have to practice. And I think coming off our Christmas break, we gave our guys 6 days and went right to Chicago, played a good Northwestern team, and then turned right around and played a very hungry South Carolina State team. And I just think that we haven't had a chance to really practice as a complete team yet. So, excuse me, this week has given us an opportunity to kind of, I think, get some more chemistry, get guys some more reps, and hopefully we can grow and get better.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Ray, for that. I don't see any other hands raised, Coach. So we're going to let you get back to practice and doing what you're doing in the middle of the week to get ready for Saturday. Take care of yourself and stay warm up there, Coach. All
Thank you,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Going to be Howard going to visit UMES this coming Saturday, January 10th at the Heights Center at UMES, 4:30 p.m. tip-off on the Delmarva Sports Network. Let's turn our attention back to Morgan State in Baltimore. I see we've got Kevin Broadus with us this morning. Good morning to you, Coach.
Good morning. How we doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Year number 7 for you at the helm in Morgan State.
Year number 7.
Man, you didn't have all that gray in your beard when you started.
Neither did Barack when he started.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. Coach, although the landscape of college basketball is really constantly and rapidly changing, there is continuity of leadership in basketball in Baltimore at Morgan State. How important is that now in this era when the only thing that we find consistent is constant change?
Well, it depends on your leadership too. If they believe in you, they stick with you. But at some point we got to turn the corner. I understand that. I've been in this business over 37 years, so I understand the ins and outs of continuity and good, bad, and indifferent. So it's time for us to take the turn. We just have not had the fortunate of we got to one championship, couldn't turn the corner after that. But I like the guys we have. I really do. I mean, they are putting in the time and the effort. It's just now during the games they have to carry over. So that's where we at as a program. I think we're close, but yet we are far away.
Okay. Fair assessment, Coach. Well, you opened up last week the conference slate and a tough loss at UMES. And while you can never dwell on the loss, what you did learn about your team, tell us, what did you learn about your team in that game and how they responded since that game?
Well, what I have learned is we are poorly, on the road, we have been playing poorly. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We have not won a road game. We were close to first half. Then second half, they pulled away. We came back. I mean, it's the attention to detail, especially when you're playing on the road. Mm-hmm. You have to be locked in from the time you leave campus to the time the game starts to the time the game's over. And like I told our guys, since we've been back, we got to be better at that. And I tell you what, UMES is vastly improved. Really good team. I mean, forget playing us. I watched them from game 1 against Georgia Tech all the way up to they've played a lot of good games, close games. Their record may not show it, but I think they're really, really good. I do. I think they're one of the better half teams. And like Coach Blakeney said, I think they're paying attention and doing the things to win, attention to detail.
Okay, Coach. Well, let's talk about your club now, too. Some major contributors thus far this season. Peggs, Lawson, Davis, those guys at the top of the stat list in many categories.
Our best player right now, scoring-wise, is Worrell. But our best all-around player, I think personally, is Davis. I mean, he's the head and the snake. He's the head of the snake for our team. He gets us going. When we had him out, we had no chances in none of the games. And he's come back. We got him back, and he's slowly getting back into a rhythm. And and our guy for 4 years, Rob Lawson. So once these guys get to meshing, and this is no excuse. I mean, I always tell our guys the next man up, regardless who's in and who's out. That's why you have 13 to 15 guys on your roster. You hope all of them can contribute. And it's not just the first 5. You hope the next 5 and then the next 5 can contribute. And that's what we're trying to get our guys to buy into. We're struggling really with our bigs, though, right now. Our inside game is really struggling. And not just from an offensive standpoint, from a defensive standpoint. We got to defend better. It's no secret. We can't just go into games and let other players that average a certain number get twice that number. And that's the thing we've been working on. And our guys have come back Monday and Tuesday, had 2 good days of practice. So hopefully we could get over the hill this weekend.
Okay, Coach. This Saturday, let's talk about this weekend. The Bears are preparing for a big one at home against South Carolina State. Huge win over Howard. Got the reigning player of the week coming into the building. The Bulldogs earned a slot to the MEAC title game last year. There's no hidden secret to winning these games, is it? But what is your key to emphasizing the points that will get you a victory?
Toughness, because we know what they bring. They're going to come in, they're going to pressure you. They're going to play. They're going to go to the offensive glass, but they're going to pressure you 94 feet. And we got to be able to withstand all that and punch back. You can't just, a good fighter is a fighter that can take a punch, but can throw a punch too. So that's what we're looking at. We can't just say, what they do well. We got to do some things well. We got to rebound. We got to defend better. So we know what they bring. And they played a hell of a game against Howard from start to finish. They was up most of the game, and Howard made a great comeback. But it was no doubt that they controlled the tempo of the game for 39 minutes. For 39 minutes of the game.
Okay. All right, Coach. Well, thanks so much. Those are my questions. We're going to open up for the media. As a reminder, media, please use the raise hand feature. Remain muted until you're introduced. And also, please limit your questions to just one for Coach Broadus. First question comes from Ray Rogers. Ray.
Hey, Happy New Year, Coach Broadus. How are you?
Happy New Year, my brother.
All right, appreciate you. I want to ask, with losing guys like Cam, Hobbs, and Will, is it natural to assume that, like Lawson is taking on that leadership role because of the experience within your program? The transfer portal has been mentioned several times. It's a new group, like most teams, but still, is that who you are naturally leaning on for leadership on this team?
Absolutely. He's been there. This is his 4th year, and he knows the ins and outs, how we as a staff want to do things, and he has bought into being a leader. He's come a long way. I mean, from one opposite of the spectrum now to a leadership spectrum. I mean, when he was a freshman, he was a disaster. But he has grown to be that man, to be in a leadership. And that's a part of growth for these young men. You like to see that, and we talk about it all the time with Rob, so yes, he has become a leader for us. Now he has to take the next step.
Hey, good stuff, Coach. Good luck. Thanks again.
Appreciate you.
Coach, we wish you nothing but the best this weekend as you keep working. Like you said, turning that corner. You're going to turn the corner at home, though. That's one thing. There's no place like home, right?
That's the plan. We hope so.
Well, it's going to be a 4:00 tip-off on ESPN2. Morgan State will host the Bulldogs, South Carolina State, this coming Saturday. That's the 10th in Baltimore. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, we're going to make a change here. We're going to see if we can get Coach Erik Martin on the line with us. I know he was here with us just a minute ago. Coach, are you there? There you go. How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you also.
You heard everybody talking about that big time win, and how you just heard the whole thing. We
tried to give it away though. We tried, and I mean, once again, you got to give credit to Howard. Coach Blakeney is a hell of a coach. He's done it for a long time, and I'm one of those guys who was voting for Bryce Harris as Player of the Year, even though they wouldn't let us do that in the voting process. So we knew what we were getting into.
Okay. So, Coach, you just heard Coach Broadus say, man, you led 39 minutes out of 40, and you say we tried to give it away. Is that coach speak, or you getting ready to, or you really setting it up to go down into to Baltimore because it's going to be another battle, right?
Yeah, there are no easy games in the MEAC, and until Saturday, we had one win. So when you haven't won, your team doesn't believe it can win until it does. And I think when the game got close, maybe our kids, and we spoke about this on Monday in film, uh, maybe they got in their own heads and thinking, hey, here we go again. So it said a lot that we were able to withstand that. And obviously, Jaden hit a huge shot. But we talked about finishing the half and finishing the game. And you're going to be successful in the MEAC. You got to be able to finish these halves. So
Coach,
hopefully we can get better at that.
Let's talk about that moment. I mean, and the guy. I mean, everybody points to Jaden Johnson as the guy. He's a preseason guy, right? And he hits a pull-up jumper with a second to go for a dramatic 58-57 win over the Bison at home. What a great win. What a great moment it was. Did it really prove to your team now, oh, wait a minute, we can win?
I think so. Once again, when you've lost as much as we've lost, it's human nature to think, something's going to go wrong when you get close to the end of the game. Now, as I said, fellas, we should have took that lead. I think we're up by 9 with about a minute and a half. We should have won that game by 15, 17 points and should have stretched out the lead. But once again, you got to give credit to Howard. They pressed us, and we made some uncharacteristic turnovers, especially by our guards, the guys that were going to have the ball at the end of the game, and they made it close. So once again, I think this win at least gives us the confidence that we can win. Now we get to go on the road where I think the last 2 years we've been one of the better road teams in the MEAC.
Yeah.
Now, bad part about that is most of the guys that were on that team are somewhere else playing now. But we're going to try and just strap it up. I mean, playing Kevin's teams are always hard. Morgan State, they've always been difficult, as well as Coppin. So we got 2 more days of practice, and then we'll be ready to play on Saturday.
Okay. Well, you're going in there led by everybody's pick as the player of the year, Coach. He finishes up with 24 points on the day. But more importantly, defensively, you limited the Bison to 30% shooting in the game, and you won the battle of the boards. That's Bulldog basketball, isn't it?
It is. And once again, if you've seen our past games, we've been giving up about 100 points. Unfortunately, we've only been scoring about 70 or 80, and we've been getting out rebounded. So I think I could have done a better job this year when it came to scheduling. I mean, my schedule was brutal. I didn't do any favors to my kids, but at the time, I thought with what we lost and what we replaced, I thought we would be ready to go. As you know, when you do this coaching thing, you learn, and I learned that scheduling, if you don't schedule right, you can lose your team before you get to the MEAC. So lesson learned. That won't happen again, but hopefully we can. That won't hold us back in trying to pursue our MEAC championship.
Yeah, you were all over the country, Coach. The first half of the season. I mean, looked up where we in South Dakota and everywhere. Hey, you had to pack heavily too, didn't you?
The worst thing about success is pride, and sometimes you start thinking you maybe know a little bit more than you do, and you don't think about the overall picture, was really gaining confidence. That's what the preseason is for. Everyone in the league has to play guaranteed game to pay bills, and I did that. I just, it wasn't until once we got 8 or 9 games in, and like, you know what, lesson learned. We're not going to do this again. We need to have some. I don't want to say cupcakes because nobody's cupcake, but some non-D1 teams in here to try and get some confidence, and hopefully that schedule doesn't come back and bite me in the butt as we go on through the year.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, but that was then and this is now. You're in the middle of MEAC play, and that's your ultimate goal. So it seems like last year when all the league games were decided on the last possession. But this year, you got the guy that wants the ball in those moments. I mean, and he's getting some help from James Morrow, Owen Brunston Jr., huge contributors now who are stepping up and making your rotation a bigger threat than people could have imagined. Let's talk about that before we go to the media for the questions.
Yeah. James is the only third-year player on my team. He's been through the good and the bad with the program, and we got some new guys, Cam Clark, Obi Bronston, just guys who, once again, I was glad that we were in a space where the game was close because, as I told them leading up to the Howard game, fellas, there will not be any blowouts in the MEAC. We're not going to blow anyone out. No one's going to blow us out. We got to learn how to win close games. Never in my wildest dreams did I think we would blow a 9-point lead in approximately 45 seconds. But we were able to finish the game so we can build from that. So once again, we're going to press you. We played. I think we played 9 guys, 10+ minutes. We're going to continue to do that and use our depth. I think the thing that's also kind of hit me this year, and I know no one's going to feel sorry for me, but we've had injuries. I've had more games missed to injuries than I had my first 3 years combined. And you can't see injuries coming. They happen. I'm old school. I believe there's a difference between being injured and hurt. If you're hurt, you can't. You should play. Everybody's hurt this time of year. But if you're injured, you can't play. So you don't see those coming. But injuries give other guys an opportunity to get playing time that they wouldn't usually have if there weren't those injuries. So those injuries have allowed us to get a little bit deeper. Maybe some walk-ons have gotten some minutes. But whether you're injured or not, you got to be ready to play when they throw the ball up, and we're going to be ready on Saturday.
Well, good, Coach. I'll tell you what, and I hope you're ready for these next couple of questions from Ray Rogers and Charles Hallman, respectively. So let's tee Ray up for you right now. Ray.
Hey, what's up, Coach? Happy New Year.
Hey, Ray, Happy New Year's to you, brother.
All right. Well, first, I just want to say I'm glad league players started because we get to see the Bulldogs now. You know, it's hard to watch you guys when you're out of conference. But in the short time I've seen you play, I feel like you've been patient. You know, I've seen you as an intense guy, but this year I feel like, you know, you come around, you meet your guys where they are. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yes,
or,
that is accurate.
Are you hiding something?
Yeah, no. That's accurate. You as you coach, you mature, and what I've learned is you got to coach each team to where they are. I mean, last year's team, I could get after them, road, practice, shoot around. They responded. These are new guys, and we're losing. So I can try and build their confidence, or I can try and just beat them down. And not that I haven't gotten after these guys, you know, in film session practice, but yeah, I just had to grow as a coach. I think that happens as you go through this process.
All right. Well, good luck. We'll be seeing you, Coach.
I appreciate it, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much, Ray. Charles Hallman, you're up.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you as well. You mentioned earlier that there's no easy games in the MEAC. Can you speak to our Minnesota readers who don't get a chance to see your games at a league play, or we get a chance to see you sometimes y'all play in Minnesota? What makes these games so tough, in your opinion, not just from your team, but throughout the league? What makes these games so tough?
Oh, I think it's the great coaches in the league. You know, the players are always going to change up, but I mean, from Norfolk to Central, you name it, all the way down to Maryland Eastern Shore, they got great coaches, and you get a chance to see each other, so you become familiar with what each team wants to do. But even though you know what they want to do, you still have to present a game plan to where you can win. I said this before. I'll continue to say this. When I came to play and coach in the MEAC, I really had never seen a MEAC game, so I didn't really know. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I've never heard of them, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to wreck shop. And look at my record from that first year. Shop wrecked me. But I learned, I understood that basketball is a humbling game. And just when you think you got everything and figured out, that's about the time when basketball smacks you upside the head. And that's a lesson I learned year one. I don't think I need to learn that lesson again. But to answer your question, just really good coaches, underrated coaches. And maybe because we're the MEAC and we don't get seen a lot on national TV, we got really good coaches, and they're good at game planning, and they have pedigree. I mean, those guys have been to multiple tournaments. It's hard to get to an in-state tournament. And when you've been to 2, 3, 4, yeah, you can really coach.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck. Rest of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for that, Charles and Coach. That's it for the media questions this morning. We're going to let you get on back to what you're doing and get your game prep for this weekend's big game. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No
Happy
problem,
New Year to all
Coach.
of you guys.
Okay, no problem. As a reminder, South Carolina State travels to Morgan State this Saturday, January 10th, 4 p.m. tip-off on ESPN+. Let's go on down to Norfolk State. Next interview is with head coach Rob Jones. Happy New Year to you, Coach Jones.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Good. Coach, what is this, year 13 at the helm as the head man?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that means you're a teenager at the helm. You know, you've been there a long time, Coach. Looking back, under your leadership, the Spartans have been a top 3 finisher every year of your tenure except for one, and that's when you finished in 4th place. So you're talking about perennial success there, Coach. The Spartans continue to be a force, and it seemed to surprise a lot of people this past week when you dropped the conference opener for the first time in many years. Take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, that was our first time dropping a conference opener in 5 years. That's the first time we were 0-1 in 5 years. So it was a shocker, but also, Central's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
For us, we haven't won down there in a long time, and I know I joke with Coach Moton because I think we haven't beat them down there since 2016, and they haven't beat us up here since 2017. So it's like we both got like this home stand that we defend and things like that. So it's definitely was a tough game. It's been a different season so far, let's just say.
Yeah.
For us, it's not our typical non-conference season as of late. We're 6-11, and that's the first time we've been even that low since 2019-20 season. And so it's definitely a humbling experience so far, but also an exciting one because it now gives you a little bit more fuel, a little bit more edge going forward.
Okay. Well, Coach, and we're operating under different times now. I mean, with the transfer portal, it has everybody seemingly rebuilding their roster every year, but it seems like you find a way to reload every year. I mean, this year, 7 transfers, 2 freshmen, and 4 returners. It takes time to build the chemistry needed to win consistently. But how do you do it? And how is it going with this version of the Spartans?
Well, honestly, I don't feel like we reloaded nothing at 6-11, but it's just, you try to find the best possible guys to fit within your makeup. Clearly, just like the rest of the schools in the league, we're not running through with $10 million worth of NIL money or anything like that. Right. So you got to kind of pick and choose, and as I would say, bargain shop for who you can get to fill in some pieces and things like that. So, my group, my group is a pretty good group. It's, like I said, so far our record is not characteristic of what we've done in the non-conference the past 5 or 6 years, but that's why we're in conference play now. And conference play is a whole different animal, and as of right now, our record is 0-1. As we look at it, and we got 13 more games to change that record. So all is not lost. Like we told the guys, even though it's disappointing to lose your first conference game in 5 years, your opener, is that none of our goals have went away. Our goals of winning a regular season championship, our goals of winning a tournament championship, to defend both of those things, none of that has went away. It's just we lost the MEAC opener for the first time in a long time. So everything else is still intact, and we're going to try to keep working to make sure we get our final goal.
Okay, Coach, let's talk about Anthony McCombs, Devin Ellis, and Jameson. I mean, those are your 3 top scorers and leaders in minutes played. I mean, right now, almost 60% of your point production is generated by those 3 guys. When you talk about a point differential is 1.3 points a game, the margin is slim, isn't it? How do you hold that margin? Is it defensive performance or a combination of other factors?
Well, like even what you said at 1.3, we've lost 7 games by 10 points or less.
Mm-hmm.
We've lost 4 games by 1 possession. So, like, our record could be totally different. This could be a totally different conversation at 13-4 instead of 16-11.
Right.
So it shows that we have something there. It's just up for me and my coaches to fully get it out of us. But those 3 young men have been doing a pretty good job so far this season. Devon Ellis obviously played for UMES a couple of years ago, so he's familiar with the league. He had a pretty good game against Central, 18-8, I think it was. And then Anthony McCombs and Elijah Jameson are new to the league. And they've been performing well pretty much all year. So those are like our big 3. And there's other guys like Jordan Leaks and who could perform as well. So we're excited about going forward. It's just I think it's, like I said, it's just a lot of times getting used to what league play is, right? League play is a little different than non-conference play. Non-conference play is like a lot of skill, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of hype. League play is like grit. It's like it's not pretty, it's gritty, so we got to make sure we get a little tougher. And to go along with what Coach Martin has said, I know coaches across the country have said this too, even some coaches in our league that I've talked to, is that, we got to get a little tougher. My team, I think that we're pretty, we got some good skill, but we got to get a little tougher in tough situations. Even those 7 games we lost by 10 points or less, is that down the stretch we might not got that defensive stop we needed. We might not made the free throw we needed because of the pressure and things like that. So we got to get a little tougher.
Okay. Well, going into Dover this weekend, earlier Stan Waterman talked about the fact that how tough it is to play in the league, and the stakes got higher because you got a mad team in Norfolk State coming into Dover this weekend. With somebody got to pay, and he felt the same way, and he said it's going to be a battle. What will be the key to winning in Dover? Will it be defensive rebounding or shot making or a combination of so many other factors?
I think for us, just what Stan said, I said the same thing to my team. I said that this is a matchup that both teams lost their first game. So somebody's going to walk out of here 0-2, and it can't be us. So we got to, so we should be mad, and they should be mad too. So, who's going to be madder that game? And Stan's such a nice guy. I wonder how mad he gets, but that's like, but, so it's going to be 2 angry teams playing against each other. But I think the biggest for us is just, for us, it's just consistency and our maturity and intensity have to be a little better. Because like I said, skill-wise, we can do some things, but just understanding how hard to play for 40 minutes has been our struggle this year. We'll play hard for 30 minutes, we'll play hard for 36, we'll play hard for sometimes 20 minutes. But I can't really tell you a game that we played hard for all 40, except for maybe the UTEP win. That might have been the only game that we played hard for all 40, and we got a good win down there against UTEP. So, but we got to bottle up that energy and play, the rest of the 13 games in conference play.
Okay. Coach, thanks so much. Hold on for the next set of questions. Reminder to the media, make sure you use the raise hand feature, and then limit the questions. As a matter of fact, Ray, I think you're the only one. If you got a couple of questions, shoot them to him, Coach. All right. Ray, you're on.
Oh, you give me the chance to ask more than one? Nah, I'm joking. I only got one for you.
Okay.
Hey, Coach, Happy New Year, man. You already know it's always a pleasure, man, to talk to you. And I just want to kind of get your feelings on the fact that we know what your record has been over the past several years, the championships and all. But what do you say to those that are saying this is the year to get Norfolk State? If you want to get them, this is the year to do it.
I would say that's right. Like I said before, this you better get me now. This is the worst I'm going to be. So this is. I would say that they're right. But the other thing I would say too is that, and I said it last night on my coaches thing, is that recently I started investing in the stock market, and I learned a lot in the stock market. Before, financial maturity is like I used to put money in the stock market. I used to take it out when it went down because I was scared that losing the money. But I learned over time from a financial advisor that sometimes on a dip is when you buy more, right? And then it's going to go back higher than it was before. So you got to be patient. So I would say right now we're like a stock. Right now we're on a dip, and I think you should buy into the stock because the stock is eventually going to go back up. So that's what I would say to people who say that this is the year to get us. Yeah, right now it is maybe this moment, but stock is going to go back up. So, and I'll be the first one to say that, and I'll stand on that. So and I'm excited about taking the challenge to do that. But right now, I mean, like I said, if whoever said that or whoever will say that, they're probably right. They're probably right. They're probably right. I'm never gonna. I can't even combat that. It's hard to combat something when you're 6-11. You know what I mean, and things like that. So because usually at this point we're like 11-6. Or something like that. So I can't combat that. So the naysayers, you're right. You're right. You're right.
One quick follow up. Have these guys grasped what it means to wear, the green and gold? Because it's a lot that comes with wearing those colors in the MEAC. Because, like I just said, your accomplishments, all that you achieved. I mean, hopefully they'll get it. But do you feel like they're getting it, or it's going to take a little more time?
They're getting it slowly but surely. I think that like the Central game, they understood. They even like the CP3 tournament. Like they saw how other HBCUs reacted to us and things like that. So it's like, they understand it little by little. But the thing is that before you have kids that have been here 2-3 years, right? So they understand all the tradition, all the, the winning, all the 75% win percentage in conference. They understand all that, fifth in the nation and all that stuff like that. They understand all that stuff. But these guys, you have 2 or 3 months. So, and they don't fully understand what it means to wear that green and gold, and especially in conference play. So I think they got a taste of it. Last game, I think they got a taste of it. So hopefully they understand more and through conversations and things like that. And And we screenshot and we clipped some things from last game, especially after the game. We clipped some things to show them, the reactions and stuff like that. So it was. I think that they'll understand slowly but surely. Take a little longer, but hey, like Coach Martin said, that's what you're in it for. That's what they supposedly pay us the big bucks for. So figure it out, I guess.
All right. Well, good luck. We'll be seeing you, Coach. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Ray.
Coach Jones, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate you breaking away to come chat with us, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
All right. That's going to be Norfolk State at Dell State this Saturday, January 10th, 4:30 p.m. Tip off on ESPN Plus. Let's go down to Durham, North Carolina. Let's speak with head basketball coach LeVelle Moton of the North Carolina Central Eagles. Coach Moton, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning, brothers. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Coach. Doing good. I'll tell you what, you just heard Rob talk about matching up against North Carolina Central and the back and forth and how intense that rivalry is. Look, you want to know right now in conference play, Coach, and that's a great reason to celebrate. We want to keep that momentum going. You've got Corey Carvey. He exploded for 24 points and 11 boards. This transfer from Morehead State led the way in the big win over Norfolk State, but he shot almost 60% field goal percentage, getting his fourth double-double of the season. Is this another example of feed the monster and we'll have a shot to win?
Well, you know what? That boy is so talented that we haven't done a good job of feeding the monster. You've seen our schedule. It's been vigorous. And I can honestly say, man, there hasn't been a game that we walked off the floor that I didn't feel as if he was the best player on the floor, right? And definitely the best big on the floor. So with that said, we have to, but he was getting only 8-9 shots a game, right? He might be 6 for 9, 7 for 9 or something of that nature. But, he wasn't getting enough shots. So I had to emphasize to our guards and everyone else on the floor, listen, man, we're a better basketball team when this guy gets shots, right? So let's play through him because he's supremely skilled. He's not a selfish individual. And when you get him the ball, he'll give it back, right? So it's just a way for us to play in a non-traditional way where we can get them some post touches and play from inside out as opposed to outside in.
Okay. Well, Coach, you got Jay Slack, Deontay Johnson, and Gage Lattimore actually is your leading scorer, but they've made major contributions, particularly in the win last week. Is that what you're trying to? I mean, you just told us what you're really doing now. You're talking to your guards and saying, let's play inside out.
Right.
And I guess they get it now, and we'll see a lot more of that the next couple of weeks with a rotation of scorers, defensive players, and great leadership. You seem to be tapping into a formula that's providing you some momentum early now.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. I didn't, I don't want to say I didn't do a good job. It's, it was just some patience, right? We had 12, 13 new guys. And a lot of these guys we got out there mid-June, July. So normally, traditionally, you have the months of May and June to bring them in July to bring them into summer school, and get them familiar with your vernacular, your system, et cetera, et cetera. We didn't have that luxury. So now our May and June was November and December, right? And unfortunately, you got to do it by the fire. They in the frying pan now against Kentucky and NC State and North Carolina. So that's tough to really, gauge who is capable of doing what, right? So you're just pretty much playing musical chairs with lineups, musical chairs with this guy because he may have a good game here, but, he struggled the last 3 games. So you're just trying to fix all of those things. You don't get a chance to practice because you always have a game. And so such is life, man. But I think we had a good period over the break. I think we had a good period over the break where we were able to practice and get some things going. And, hopefully we toyed with some lineups.
Okay, Coach, well, you lead me into my final question. Under the landscape of college athletics and with the Eagles roster loaded now with transfer students, how do you help these new Eagles not only to make the transition on the court, but to Durham and the campus?
Yeah, that's been the challenge, man. Normally we're accustomed to having new faces, but we're also accustomed to having some returnees show them the way and assume the leadership role and be coaches on the floor and coaches in the locker room, et cetera, et cetera. The difficult thing is so many new guys that it's like a complete anomaly, right? You got an entire classroom that don't know the landscape, the culture, or whatever we're trying to do. And, this generation, they don't care much about tradition anymore, right? And that's at all levels, whether it's Kentucky, Carolina, like these kids, and it's not their fault. The rules and regulations have just implemented it's all about me society, right? And so they don't care about the greatness and the things that's been built at North Carolina Central. They care and they're thinking about themselves. So we got to break that mindset and, continue to focus on the we and the not me mode. And I think as long as you can do that, that transition to, Durham, North Carolina will be a lot smoother.
Okay, Coach, let's go to the media now because I'm sure they want to ask you some questions about the big matchup. Let's start with Charles Hallman. Charles.
Good morning, Coach. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Charles. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. They always talk about football rivalries in the MEAC. How much talk it is about basketball rivalries, especially in this era that you just talked about, kids not understanding the histories and those type of things. Is those rivalries are still intact in terms of significance, in your opinion, or you have to really almost sell this idea again over and over again because it changes in the lineups every year?
It changes in the lineups. Rivalries are built off consistency, right? And the thing about that consistency, it ain't necessarily the schools. That plays a large part, but it's the players that's competing against one another. And so now when you have a new roster every year and these guys are coming from, other respected institutions and universities, they don't know much about the MEAC and they don't know much about a Central A&T rivalry or Central Norfolk State or, whatever the case may be. Like HBCU rivalries, that's big. It's big for our coaches, big for our alums, it's big for our fan base. So to get them to buy in, the challenge as coaches, and every coach on this call will probably say the same thing, the challenge is getting them to buy in to something that's bigger than themselves. It's all about them. You know what I'm saying? It's just a me attitude, and it's a selfish attitude, but it's not their fault. It's like the NCAAs have allowed this. So our NIL, when we came about, used to be a scholarship, right? That was our NIL, and we was happy with that and some Pell Grant, right? And so we just wanted to play and represent the name on the front of the chest. They don't have no loyalty to that anymore because anytime you lead any relationship with money, it don't end well. I don't care what it is. And so when you lead a relationship with money, the things that money can't buy are now replaced. The character, the loyalty, the respect, all of those things just kind of go out the window because it becomes a transactional relationship. That's the challenge, not only to answer your question in terms of them understanding the rivalry, just understanding and being grateful and appreciative for the situation and circumstances that they currently have.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great question. Charles Ray.
Hey, good morning. Happy New Year to you, Coach.
Ray, what's up, my man? Happy New Year.
I appreciate you. You gave that answer just now. It's a perfect segue for me because I consider you, what I call like an old school coach. You're very straightforward. You don't sugarcoat anything. And what I want to simply know is how is this current group responding to your leadership style? Because as you mentioned, the climate of today, people, they quick to jump in the portal or they quick to, want to leave. So how do you feel like these guys are responding to the challenge of playing for LeVelle Moton?
I think it's great, man. Because I think that's the only way to be. At the end of the day, when you're straightforward and you're respectful, right, you can be demanding but not demeaning, right? And so when I tell them I'm straightforward, look, man, I grew up in a household and I grew up in a generation where those were the people that loved you, not the ones that's telling you what you want to hear. Like mama was straightforward, grandpa was straightforward, right? When you showed out, they showed out. You showed out in church, they showed out in church. You know what I'm saying? But they told you and they loved you to death, right? And it was just that, man. This generation is more, and I understood this from being a teacher. I was a Wake County public school teacher for 6-7 years. So I saw the landscape changing. I've adapted. right? And I've adjusted because obviously, if you don't adjust, you don't want to get left behind. But I don't adjust with my core values because those things never change. And if you want to be a good basketball player, it's only one way to do that, right? You got to be committed. You got to be hard worker, right? And you can't cut any corners, right? And so those things are never going to change. And so that's the formula for success. Now, I'm not appealing to your feelings and all that. I don't have time for excuses. None of that. But I'll let you have the aux cord and let you listen to NBA YoungBoy on the bus and in the locker room and at practice and all of those things. I'll adjust in that manner, right? So we don't do New Edition at practice no more. We do NBA YoungBoy and money bags and whoever these guys. I don't really know those guys. So I adjust in that sense, right? But I'm straightforward with them, man, and letting them know, look, I think what we've done and where we felt as leaders, and this is not only in the MEAC, but this has historically been HBCU culture, is the development of these young men, right? Because we got to understand this ball gonna stop bouncing one day, right? And you can cater towards their feelings and all that stuff, but man, y'all know, as soon as they lost that eligibility, ain't nobody caring about their feelings. Right. And they have to have the characteristics to develop and sustain relationships, right? Because that's what this world is all about, relationships. And so, for instance, if you go out there and you interact with the young lady that you like, but you don't have the characteristics to sustain that relationship, and you impregnate that lady and she go down 2 years later and put you in child support, you think that judge care about your feelings? No, he gonna say, listen here, bro, you owe this every month. Mess around and don't pay it, or call your mom and see what happens, right? And none of that can help you. Those are the harsh realities that we live in. So basketball has to become a metaphor to develop those characteristics and those traits to go out in this world and be a man.
Thanks for that answer. That was thorough. I appreciate you.
You know that. Appreciate you.
As the season goes on.
Thank you, brother.
Coach, that's prophetic words you just spoke. Thank you so much for that, Ray. And Coach, I know you got so many other things you got to do today, so we're going to let you run on back. But I appreciate your time today to answer these questions and to spend the time with us to talk about North Carolina Central basketball. We'll see you again week after next for this, okay?
Thank you, guys.
Best of luck to you, Coach. North Carolina Central at Coppin State, Saturday, January 10th, 4:30 p.m. on ESPN+. Well, folks, that wraps up our opening week of the MEAC bi-weekly men's basketball media conference presented by our great partners at TowneBank. Now, before we sign off, I want to just give a sincere thank you to all of the coaches and the media members and staff who made today's video conference a success. The league would also like to extend its appreciation to all of our corporate partners for their continued support of the conference and our Elite 8 member institutions. Now, just a reminder, the next MEAC bi-weekly men's basketball video conference is set for Wednesday, January 21st at 10 a.m. For more information on the MEAC men's basketball programs and all MEAC-sponsored sports, visit MEACsports.com. Follow the MEAC on social media at MEAC Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. That does it. Thanks so much for tuning in to the MEAC bi-weekly men's basketball video conference. Enjoy yourselves a great weekend of hoops. See you soon.